After I reincarnated, I went to the hospital right away to get an abortion. In my past life, I was suddenly found to be pregnant with fraternal boy-girl twins. After a childless marriage of 5 years, I was told that I needed to abort one, or I could die due to the excess size of the fetuses. But while I hesitated, I heard my son's voice. Mommy, you have to abort this brat. She's going to kill me. He's been stealing all the food. She's not my sister. She's Tina and Daddy's bastard. They use black magic to move her here and kill me, while you would treat her like your own daughter, and she can then inherit all the family wealth. Hearing that, I promptly went to the hospital to abort the twin daughter, keeping the son. But on the day I went into labor, he threw a fit, punching and kicking my room until he finally killed me. And just before I died, I heard him gloating. Stupid broad, you really believed me and aborted your own daughter. Just die already. I'm going to meet my parents. When I opened my eyes again, Tina was sitting right in front of me, telling me to abort one of my babies. You're very weak, Tina. You'll be in grave danger if you wait until you're due and deliver both twins. You should abort one of them. Hearing the familiar voice, I opened my eyes wide to see Tina low reasoning with me. Startled, I leaped to my feet, wobbling for a while before catching my balance. Tina's eyes flashed in disgust, but she walked around the table to hold me steady. Are you alright? I'm sorry. I guess I was too blunt. I took a deep breath to calm down and shook my head. It's not you. It's me also. This is a big deal. I can't decide just yet. Tina nodded. I get it. You should think about it. But don't take too long or you'll just end up hurting your own health. I hope to hear from you soon. Stepping out of the clinic, I started running like I had the devil on my heels. I only stopped when I finally stopped smelling medicine in the air, and bought a bottle of water from a vending machine, gulping down most of it. Even as I came to my senses, I heard the boy in my belly talking to me. Mommy, help. She's killing me. She's eating everything, leaving me with nothing. Hearing that voice, I was finally sure that this wasn't a dream. It was real and I had reincarnated in my last life. I was married to Zach Spencer for 5 years, but we never had children until he told me about Tina. She was his childhood friend and a gynecologist, and she had a miraculous treatment that could induce pregnancy right away. That was how I met Tina and took her prescription, after which I became pregnant with fraternal boy-girl twins. The whole family was delighted, and I trusted Tina even more because of that. Just a few months later, when I returned for a routine checkup, she told me that I wasn't healthy enough to bear twins, that if I tried to force it, all 3 of us could die together. Guilt was eating me alive when I heard it, as the twins were my treasure, and I didn't want to part with either of them. But even as I was caught in a dilemma, the boy in my belly spoke to me in my mind. He told me that Tina and Zach had been having an affair for the longest time, and had used black magic to get me pregnant with their child. Since Tina despised the thought of labor pains, I didn't believe it until I had a private investigator tell them, and was shown records of them going into a love motel together. Forget keeping his babies. All I wanted was to divorce that jerk. However, that was when I heard the boy in my belly telling me he would stay with me after the divorce, that he would disown his jerk of a father. As such, I was convinced to abort my daughter and keep the boy, only to realize that it was the start of my nightmares. It was only in death that I realized Tina had planned everything. The boy was never my son, but a demon incarnate. Worst of all, I was beguiled into killing my own daughter. That's why in this life, I would definitely protect myself and my daughter. I would not allow any harm to come to her. Leaving the hospital where Tina worked, I took a cab to another hospital. After the doctor examined me, he confirmed what Tina said, that I couldn't deliver both twins and had to abort one. I promptly said, I'll keep my daughter. Please abort the boy. As soon as I finished, I felt a kick. Mommy, don't you love me anymore? Why me? Am I not your treasure? Don't kill me. You're making a mistake. That girl is that witch's daughter. The kicks and punches weren't stopping. The bastard would tear through my belly if he could. Even the doctor was gaping in shock. The daughter, are you sure? I lifted my shirt to show him my belly, which was undulating creepily. See, that's the boy. He's been hurting me since I got pregnant. But not my daughter. She's my angel. The boy promptly stopped once I finished, clearly afraid now that I was really going to abort him. I'm sorry, Mommy. I love you, Mommy. Please don't kill me. I just want to come out and see your face. I snorted. He most definitely meant Tina. To him, I was nothing more than a container. Alright, as long as it's your decision. Just a couple more tests and we can get started. I was really in a hurry to get the abortion, and spent the day walking around the hospital, taking tests and picking up the results. Eventually, the doctor said, "You're still in good health. I can schedule the procedure in 2 days. While I was relieved to hear that I would be spared the tragic fate I suffered in my last life, a familiar voice suddenly demanded, "What procedure?" I jumped, a chill running down my spine, as I turned in disbelief, and found both Zach and Tina standing outside the doctor's office. "What are you doing here?" I blurted. Zach ignored me, glowering as he strode in and snatched the medical test result. "Are you trying to abort my children?" Tina came in, too, nodding at the doctor. "Sorry for all the trouble, Jim." Then wheeling at me, she sighed. "You could have just asked me live. Thank goodness Jim told me, or you'd have caused everyone trouble. Even as I felt sweat trickling down my forehead, I burst into tears and threw myself into Zach's arms, wailing. "I'm so sorry. I didn't want to do it. But Tina kept telling me that I can't give birth to both, that I have to abort one of them. I was in denial, so I consulted another doctor. This is for your own good, Liv. How could you doubt me, Lena bellowed, stamping her feet. Jim told me you were going to abort the boy, too. You're trying to cut off his lineage here. After his family has gone through 5 generations, only having a single child. I pretended to flinch and hide my face in Zach's arms. You told me my daughter was taking most of the nutrients and was stronger, while the boy is very weak. If he's going to be born sickly, it's better if he isn't born at all. Still, Zach merely frowned at me. You should have discussed this with me. How could you come to get an abortion on your own? Let's go home for now. With the two of them right there, I had no choice but to follow the abortion. Just had to wait. My in-laws were clearly told about the need for abortion, and had rushed over. Mr. Spencer slammed his palm on the table as he huffed. Do not abort the boy. He's going to carry forward our family's lineage. I simply stayed on the couch sobbing endlessly in grief. I don't want an abortion either. They're both my babies and I'd never abandon them. But the boy can be born very sick. He's not going to be fertile, and he's so delicate that anything could kill him. Or would you rather your family's lineage end with me? Right now, the best plan is to abort the boy and deliver my daughter. Then when I recover in a couple of years, I can give birth to a healthy boy. Even as I sniffled and rambled, I was subtly watching my in-laws. No. Surprise. They were seriously considering my idea. That was when Tina leaped up and snapped, "No. You can't abort the boy. You're already sick live. We don't even know if you can get pregnant again. Don't worry, I'll keep you. Nurse to your best health so you can deliver a healthy baby boy. Clearly intent on convincing anyone. She then added, and don't forget, you've tried for years but could never get pregnant. But with my help, you immediately got pregnant with twins. Mr. Spencer nodded in agreement and smacked the table emphatically. Yes, keep the boy. Let Tina help you and you'll be fine. I could roll my eyes. Tina might have convinced them, but they forgot that I was the one pregnant here. If I refused, no one would get to abort my daughter. Deciding to turn the tables right then, I sobbed, "No. I'm not losing either of my twins. Please, Tina. If you can help me, why not help me save both my twins? Tina paused. That's going to be difficult. It'll just make things worse if you die during childbirth. It's fine, I insisted. I don't mind dying if I can save both children. All I want is for them to be born healthy. Tina could only stay silent and trade looks with Zach. Then both of them clearly out of ideas. And clearly going to discuss their next course of action. Behind my back. Seeing that I added fuel to the fire. If I can't save both, then I might as well die with that. I started toward the balcony and everyone promptly stopped me. Still, they were clearly scared now. And Tina had no choice but to promise to take care of me. Just a few days later, she showed up with a stack of medicine. Telling me that I must take it every day. Or I might die if I missed even one prescription. I gasped and nodded repeatedly. Don't worry, I won't. Zach even had her stay for dinner and drove her home afterward. Because he was grateful. As for me, I was laying in bed and looking through the prescriptions. When the boy in my belly started speaking to me again. Mommy, please take the medicine so that my sister and I can survive. We both want to see you soon. That immediately told me. There was something suspicious about the medicine. And I must never take it. I whipped up my phone and tapped on the camera app. Monitoring Zach's car. As soon as I did, I saw him and Tina cuddling and swapping spit. When Zach pulled away, he asked. Is that medicine going to work? Calm down, Tina smiled. I had an expert prepare that. Once Olivia takes it, our son will be strong and absorb all the nutrients in her body. Leaving nothing for her brat. He'll be a fat, healthy child. I felt a chill down my spine. I knew Tina was never going to do good. And she now even tried to get her bastard delivered. Even if it meant over my daughter's dead body. But I was not about to let her win. Nonetheless, I watched as Zach nodded in satisfaction. We will get married as soon as Olivia is dead. My parents can't argue at that point. And we will live happily ever after. All three of us. Tina smiled inside. That's wonderful. I'm so sorry I can't give you a baby. And have left you hanging for years. But you're right, we're going to be together forever soon. I snorted. So Zach marrying me was a conspiracy from the start. And I was nothing more than a surrogate to them. While I shook with rage, ready to tear them into pieces, I also resolved myself. They wanted me dead. Fine. Let us see who is going to be the last person standing. Zach was there every day, watching me take the medicine Tina had given me. For the sake of his lineage. He even made me open my mouth to check. In case I held it in my mouth and vomited it out later. But I feared nothing. And obediently took the medicine without missing once. With twins, my belly swelled as if I was at full-term pregnancy. Even if I was just 7 months in. Once after Tina gave me one of her routine but haphazard checkups. She smiled at me happily. You're in really good shape. Live, you can definitely wait for full term now. I almost snorted out loud. She really didn't care to hide her lies anymore. If I really waited until I reached full term, I'd be suffering immense pain only to die during childbirth. Still, I exclaimed happily. Really? That's wonderful. I heard full-term babies are really smart. Few days later, Zach put together a banquet to celebrate with friends and family. The double joy of his father's birthday and my pregnancy. But I made sure to arrive late. And when I did show up, I flung the stack of photos I was holding at Zach's face. You jerk. You were cheating on me. The photos scattered everywhere and everyone reached for one. They could all see the unspeakable things he was doing with Tina. That includes my own parents. With my father charging up and punching Zach. You bastard, when my daughter's still pregnant with your child. Zach was at a loss and rushed toward me crying. Please live. Let me explain. However, I suddenly screamed, clutching my belly as I dropped to my knees. Arg, it hurts so much. I think my water broke. Help. What? Zach panicked right then. No way. You're just 7 months in. I simply kept yelling over him. ARG, my twins, they're coming. The chaos at the Spencer family banquet was a symphony of destruction, and I was the conductor. While guests scrambled to pick up the scattering photographs, glossy, high-definition proof of Zack and Tina's depravity, my father was already dragging Zack by the collar, his fist connecting with my husband's jaw again and again. But I didn't have time to enjoy the violence. The pain ripping through my abdomen was real. The water soaking the expensive carpet was real. Call an ambulance, my mother shrieked, shoving a stunned socialite out of the way to kneel beside me. Live. Breathe. Tina, her face pale and her reputation turning to ash around her, tried to rush toward me. I'm a doctor. Let me see her. She needs to be stabilized, we can't let her deliver yet. Get away from her, you home-wrecking witch. My mother, usually a woman of grace and poise, looked ready to tear Tina's throat out with her teeth. She slapped Tina's hand away. You aren't touching my daughter ever again. You don't understand. Tina hissed, her eyes darting between my heaving belly and Zack, who was bleeding on the floor. It's too early. The boy isn't ready. She wasn't worried about the baby's lung development. She was worried about the ritual. I locked eyes with her, sweating and gasping, and curled my lips into a pained, vicious smirk. I know, Tina. That's why I'm doing this now. Mom, I gasped, gripping my mother's wrist. St. Jude's. Take me to St. Jude's. Dr. Harrison. Not Tina's hospital. We're going where you want, honey. The car is out front. As my father and the driver lifted me, I felt a violent thrashing inside me. It wasn't the rhythmic contraction of labor, it was a tantrum. You stupid bitch. The voice in my head was screeching, sounding like tearing metal. Stop it. I'm not done feeding. I need more. If I come out now, I'll be weak. Put me back. Shut up, I whispered through gritted teeth as they loaded me into the car. Mommy, I'll kill you. I'll tear your insides out. You had your chance in the last life, I thought back, placing a hand on my undulating stomach. In this one, I'm the one holding the scalpel. The drive to St. Jude's was a blur of sirens and my mother's terrified sobbing. I, however, was strangely calm despite the agony. The contractions were coming in waves, induced by the pill I had swallowed an hour before the party, not the poison Tina gave me, but a powerful induction agent I'd secured from the black market. But that wasn't the only switch I'd made. Back in the hospital room, Dr. Harrison, a stern, older woman I had hired specifically because she hated the Spencer family, was scrubbing in. C-section, I gasped as the nurses stripped me of my ruined dress. Get them out. Now. Heart rates are erratic, Dr. Harrison barked. The girl is distressed but strong. The boy, his heart rate is through the roof. It's like he's having a seizure. Just get them out, I demanded. As the anesthesia mask lowered over my face, the demon's voice reached a fever pitch. You tricked us. The medicine. It burned. It didn't make me strong, it trapped me. I drifted into the dark, remembering the nights I had spent over the last 3 months. I hadn't just been, obediently, taking Tina's pills. I had taken them to a specialist, an old herbalist my grandmother knew who dealt in the esoteric. She had identified the components, grave dirt, mercury, and something unholy meant to drain the mother's life force into the male fetus. She had made me replacements. Sugar pills coated in a binding agent. And for the vitamins Tina gave me, I had replaced them with holy ash and iron supplements. The demon hadn't been absorbing my life force. He had been locked in an iron cage, starving, while my daughter, the weak one, had been quietly receiving every ounce of real nutrition I consumed. I woke up to the sound of screaming. Not a baby's cry, a man's scream. My eyes snapped open. I was in a recovery room. My mother was in the chair, looking pale as a ghost. The door burst open, and Zack rushed in, his face bruised and swollen, Tina trailing behind him like a shadowed wraith. Where are they? Zack demanded, ignoring me completely. Where is my son? Security, my mother yelled, standing up. I am the father. Zack roared. I have a right to see my son. Let him see, I croaked, my throat dry. I adjusted the bed, wincing at the incision pain. Let them see what they made. A nurse walked in, looking terrified. She was pushing 2 bassinets. One was clear plastic, bathed in warm light. Inside lay a beautiful, pink baby girl, sleeping peacefully. She was small, a preemie, but she radiated health. My daughter, I whispered, tears pricking my eyes. Maya. Zach didn't even look at her. He rushed to the second bassinet, which was covered with a heavier blanket. And the boy? Is he the heir? Tina pushed past him, ripping the blanket back. The silence that filled the room was heavy, suffocating. Inside the bassinet lay a creature that barely looked human. He was skeletal, his skin a translucent, sickly gray. His limbs were spindly, like a spider's, and his head was bulbous and veiny. But the most terrifying part was his eyes. He was awake. And he was glaring. What is that? Zach whispered, backing away. He's malnourished, Tina stammered, checking the charts with shaking hands. Intrauterine growth restriction. But how? You took the medicine. He should be 10 pounds. He should be glowing. The baby opened his mouth and let out a sound that wasn't a cry. It was a low, guttural hiss. Hungry. I was the only one who heard the word. You failed, Tina, I said softly. Tina spun on me, her eyes manic. You didn't take it. You spit it out. I took exactly what I needed to take, I replied coldly. You wanted a monster. You got one. But he didn't feed on me. So guess who he's going to feed on now? The scandal destroyed the Spencer Corporation within a week. The photos I threw at the party were just the appetizer. I had released the investigators' full report to the press while I was in surgery. Zach Spencer, adulterer. User of illicit drugs, a lie I planted, but the black magic ingredients in his house looked suspicious enough. He tried to sue for custody. He wanted the boy. He was obsessed with the lineage. I gave him what he wanted. In the courtroom, my lawyer slid the papers across the table. Ms. Olivia is granting full custody of the male child to Zachary Spencer and Tina Miller. She retains full, sole custody of the female child, Maya. Zach looked at me, suspicious. You're giving him up. Just like that? I don't want him, I said, keeping my face mask still. He reminds me of you. He's all yours, Zach. You and Tina can raise the heir you worked so hard for. Tina looked smug. She grabbed Zach's arm. See? She's weak. She doesn't know his potential. Once we nurse him back to health, he'll be a genius. He spoke to me in my dreams, Zach. He's special. I signed the papers. I was signing their death warrants. 3 months later. I was living in a villa on the coast, far away from the city. Maya was gaining weight beautifully. She cooed and smiled, a stark contrast to the nightmares of my past life. The air here smelled of salt and freedom. But I kept tabs on them. I had a camera feed installed in Zach's penthouse, a parting gift from my private investigator. It was a horror show. The boy, whom they named Damien, wasn't growing in size, but he was growing in power. He refused breast milk. He refused formula. He only calmed down when Tina held him. I watched the grainy footage on my laptop. It was 3 a.m. Tina was sitting in the rocking chair, holding Damien. She looked 20 years older than she had 3 months ago. Her hair was falling out in clumps. Her skin was sallow and draped loosely over her bones. Eat, my darling, eat, she mumbled, rocking back and forth. Damien was latched onto her arm, not nursing, but biting. Drawing blood. More. I could practically hear the demon's voice through the screen. Not enough. Zach walked in. He looked even worse. Gaunt, his eyes sunken into black sockets. Tina, make him stop crying. My head, it feels like it's splitting open. He needs energy, Zach. Tina shrieked, her voice cracking. The ritual was interrupted. He needs life force to stabilize. He's killing us. Zach yelled, throwing a vase against the wall. Look at us. I can't walk up a flight of stairs without fainting. What did you bring into this house? In the crib, Damien sat up. A 3-month-old baby shouldn't be able to sit up. He looked at Zach and smiled. His teeth were fully formed, sharp, jagged rows of them. Daddy. Zach froze. Did he just talk? Daddy is useless, Damien said, his voice a childish mimicry of a man's baritone. Daddy has no power left. Mommy tastes like bitterness. Oh God, Zach whispered, backing toward the door. Oh God, Olivia was right. It's a demon. Where is the other one? Damien asked, tilting his head. Where is the vessel? Where is my sister? She has the light. I need the light. Tina stood up, her eyes glazed over with a fanatical madness. Yes, yes, the girl. She stole your nutrients. She stole your birthright. We need to get her back, Damien. We need to get Maya. I slammed the laptop shut. They were coming. I wasn't running this time. I had prepared for this moment since I opened my eyes in the hospital bed after my reincarnation. I called my security chief. They're coming tonight. Let them in. Ma'am? You heard me. Let them into the garden. But do not let them near the house. I walked to the nursery. Maya was asleep. I placed a protective charm, a simple bag of salt and sage my herbalist gave me, under her pillow. Then I went downstairs, unlocked the patio doors, and sat in the dark with a glass of wine. The moon was full. Fitting. At 2 a.m., the shadows moved. Zach and Tina stumbled into the garden. They looked like zombies. Zach was carrying a crowbar, Tina was carrying Damien in a baby carrier strapped to her chest. I know she's here, Tina muttered. I can smell the girl. Let's just grab the kid and go, Zach wheezed. I can't take this anymore, Tina. I feel like I'm dying. You are dying, I said, stepping out onto the terrace. They both jumped. Tina spun around, her eyes wild. Damien, strapped to her chest, turned his head 180 degrees to look at me. Mommy, the thing hissed. You look delicious. You look terrible, Tina, I said, taking a sip of wine. Motherhood doesn't suit you. Give us the girl. Tina screamed, pulling a scalpel from her pocket. He needs her. If he consumes her, he'll be perfect. He'll make us rich. He'll be a god. He's a parasite, Tina. And you're the host. Give her to me. Zach lunged forward, raising the crowbar. I didn't move. I didn't have to. Damien, I said calmly. Do you want to know why you're starving? The creature paused, its black eyes locking onto mine. Why? Because your father and mother are weak, I lied. They are broken vessels. They can't feed you. But do you know why they kept you? Why they didn't let you die? Why? Because they want to use you. They want to sell you to a circus. They think you're a freak. Liar. Tina shrieked. Don't listen to her, my prince. And, I continued, my voice dropping an octave, your father is planning to kill you tonight. That crowbar isn't for me, Damien. It's for you. It was a gamble, playing on the paranoia of an evil spirit. But demons are born of malice, they understand betrayal better than love. Damien looked at Zach. Zach was indeed holding the crowbar tightly, shaking. Is that true, Daddy? No. Zach yelled. I just want the money. I want my life back. You want your life back? Damien sneered. But it's mine now. Suddenly, the carrier straps on Tina's chest snapped. Damien didn't fall. He leaped. He didn't leap at me. He leaped at Zach. The sound that followed was wet and terrible. Zach dropped the crowbar, clutching at his throat where the small, gray creature had latched on. Get it off. Get it off me. Zach gurgled, falling to his knees in the grass. Tina stood there, paralyzed. Damien. No. That's your father. He is nothing. Damien's voice boomed, sounding less like a child and more like a distorted radio signal. I am hungry. As Zach's struggles weakened, a black mist began to rise from his body, flowing into the creature's mouth. The demon grew visibly larger, his skin flushing with stolen color. Tina turned to run. Where are you going, Tina? I called out. You promised to take care of him forever. Tina scrambled toward the gate, but the baby, now the size of a toddler, was faster. He scrambled off Zach's lifeless husk and pounced on Tina's back. No. I'm your mother. I brought you here. Tina screamed as she was dragged down into the hydrangeas. You brought me into a cage. Damien roared. I turned away. I didn't need to see the rest. I walked back into the house and locked the patio doors. I called the police. Yes, send help, I said, feigning panic. My ex-husband and his mistress broke into my garden. They seem to be attacking each other. It's a bloodbath. When the police arrived, the silence in the garden was heavy. They found Zach Spencer dead from massive blood loss and trauma to the neck. They found Tina Miller in a catatonic state, bleeding from dozens of bites, missing 3 fingers. And they found a baby. But not the monster I saw. When the flashlights hit Damien, he was crying, looking like a normal, albeit severely malnourished, infant. He had expended all his energy killing Zach and draining Tina. He had reverted to a dormant state. The police saw a tragedy, a domestic dispute turned violent, with a neglected baby caught in the middle. Tina was arrested for Zach's murder. Her fingerprints were on the crowbar. She had tried to pick it up to defend herself, but it looked like she used it. Her ravings about demon babies and black magic got her transferred immediately to a high-security psychiatric ward. Damien was taken into state custody. I was asked if I wanted to take him. I can't, I told the social worker, wiping a tear from my eye. I'm a single mother with a premature daughter. I can't care for a special needs child who has seen so much violence. It wouldn't be safe for Maya. The state took him away. I knew what would happen. Without the black magic ritual, without a willing host to feed him, and without his parents, Damien would starve. Not for food, but for essence. He would wither away. He was a fire without fuel. 2 months later, I received a notice. The boy, Damien Doe, had passed away in foster care due to failure to thrive and sudden cardiac arrest. The nightmare was over. 5 years later. The park was bathed in the golden light of autumn. I sat on the bench, watching Maya run through the fallen leaves. She was tall for her age, with bright eyes and a laugh that sounded like wind chimes. She was kind. She shared her toys. She stopped to help a beetle cross the sidewalk. She was everything the boy was not. Mommy. Look. She ran over, holding a red maple leaf. It's perfect. It is, baby, I said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. I thought about Zach sometimes. I thought about the last life, where I died in agony, betrayed by everyone I loved. I thought about the boy who kicked me to death. They were ghosts now. Bad memories washed away by the tide of a new life. I had used my inheritance, Zach's assets that reverted to Maya, to start a foundation for single mothers. I had turned their blood money into a shield for women like me. Maya climbed onto my lap. Mommy, are you sad? I smiled, pulling her close, listening to the strong, steady beat of her heart, the heart I had fought hell itself to save. No, sweetie, I said, kissing the top of her head. I'm not sad. I was just remembering a bad dream I used to have. Did the monster get you? No, I whispered, looking at the clear blue sky. I got the monster. Maya hopped down and ran back to the slide. I watched her go, finally, truly at peace. The debt was paid. The balance was restored. And for the first time in 2 lifetimes, the future was unwritten, and it was beautiful.